It's not made for comfort, but that's not a bad thing. This is the Formula Instinct from Playseat, a sim rig specially designed for those who love Formula 1. And to be upfront, I really like it, and I mean really like it. Now, it's not without its cons, but for me, compared to what I was using before, which was the Playseat Trophy, the Formula Instinct has a personality I can only describe as aggressively authentic. It knows what it is and it makes no apologies. Now, full transparency, Playseat did send me this rig, but as always, they don't get to see this video before it's published, so all my thoughts are entirely my own. And this review will have 4 segments. There's build and quality, design and function, cost, and then my final thoughts. So without wasting any more time, let's start with build and quality. Off the top, this thing is solid. There's almost no plastic. The seat itself is made from metal and the rig has an entirely metal frame. In fact, the only plastic on this rig that I could find were the tightening bolts for the positioning of the seat, which is an awesome feature, by the way, but I'll talk more about that later on. The seat does have Velcro cushions and they are pretty thin, but overall the way the seat has been constructed and designed only makes for a more authentic racing experience. The whole thing came in one big box and building it was no real issue. Now, it took a little longer than the Playseat Trophy, but I was done building this thing in about an hour and a half compared to the hour it took with the Playseat Trophy. So really the whole thing was pretty simple in the grand scheme of things. Oh, and it's also really heavy. It's planted firmly. It's not going anywhere. To move this thing on your own is a challenge. So if you are someone that moves things around a lot and you are putting this on carpet, maybe getting some sliding casters or something like that would help you a ton. And the included feet are rubber, which helps with vibrations, but I'll talk more about that as well later on. Overall, I can't fault the Formula Instinct in terms of quality. There may be some people that won't like how the pedal tray is designed, as it's probably the only part of the rig I felt was a touch on the flimsy side, but after using it, it is very solid and there are no issues with it at all. And while it maybe could be a little more solid when you take into account the price, which I'll talk about more later on, I really don't think it's an issue, but I feel like I'd be doing a disservice if I didn't mention it. So for build and quality, I would score the Playseat Formula Instinct a 4.5 out of 5. So moving on to design, the design of the Formula Instinct is stunning. I mean, I'm a Formula 1 fan and every time I look at this thing, I get butterflies. The F1 branding on the back of the seat and the sides of the rig is really pretty. And the rig itself just feels like it's sort of ready to be slotted into an F1 car. And that makes the driving experience of this thing feel really authentic and really immersive. There is a ton, and I mean a ton of customization you can do without any tools at all. But if you're armed with the right sized Allen key as well, this thing is crazy customizable. The seat slides back and forth by the 4 loosening bolts that I was talking about earlier on, and my favorite thing about this rig is just how easy it is to adjust the steering wheel position. With the quick release levers, it gives you some forward and back adjustability, which sort of can tilt the wheel up or down, which is perfect for me when I'm changing from a Formula wheel to a more round wheel, because I like playing taxi life sometimes. And I usually find that it's just enough movement and angling to change from those different types of steering wheels to quickly play the different types of games I like to play. But if that's not enough, if you've got the right size Allen key, you can move the whole thing by sliding it forwards and back, which compared to something like the Playseat Trophy, you couldn't do that easily. You were sort of just stuck with what you had, especially if you were in a small space. The Formula Instinct kind of just requires a lot less elbow grease to get things into the right position. Now, the pedal tray, the design itself is a little bit of a letdown, but it wasn't a big deal in the end. I do wish I could set my pedals higher for a more authentic Formula 1 positioning, but honestly, and I am being honest here, while that was my first thought, when you actually sit in the Formula Instinct rig, you are so low to the ground, it kind of doesn't matter. And now it's something I don't think about at all when I'm racing or driving in any other game. For example, if you do drive other cars like GT3s or hypercars, the positioning is actually kind of a really good middle ground between hypercars and Formula cars and GT3s. To me, it kind of feels somewhere in the middle of all 3 of those. So when I'm switching games, I don't really feel like I'm in the wrong position, and I don't feel a massive need to have to move the rig around at all. So the fact that I don't really need to constantly be changing things when I'm switching from game to game, it actually turned out to be a good thing. I am a fan of the tubular design. It means you can kind of clamp things onto it pretty easily. And like I said before, the rig is actually raised off the floor by rubber feet. So the impact of the vibration shaking your house down is kind of minimal. However, I would still recommend placing any rig rig on a rubber anti-vibration mat if you can. It's something that I do plan to do. Now, the experience of driving this thing is amazing. I remember the first time I got in it and then got out of it, I felt like I'd just been in a real life race car, but I'm just in this room at home. However, part of the experience is the fact that it is not the most comfortable rig that I've ever sat in. It's also not the most uncomfortable that I've ever sat in. It's kind of got its own character and charm. It's really hard to explain until you actually sit in it. It's comfortable in a kind of authentic, I feel like I'm sitting in a real race car way, which now I've spent some considerable time with the rig, it's something that I love more than I thought I would. I have no issues with comfort at all doing really long sessions in this thing. It's just a very different feeling when I compare it to something that I was using previously, which is the Playseat Trophy. But it maybe would be cool to offer a more premium cushioning option at checkout for those people that want a little bit more comfort from their seat. For me though, I love it, and I think that you would be pleasantly surprised too. So rating the design and function of the Playseat Formula Instinct, I would split this into two. In terms of aesthetic and looks, it's a 5 out of 5 for me every single time. But functionally, I would give this a 4 out of 5, just because I would like the option to be able to raise the pedal plate a little bit more. You might think that I've been over-egging just how good this thing is, but honestly, I would go as far as to say this might be the perfect rig. It meets the balance of form and function with cost. Because as I record this right now, the Playseat Formula Instinct is listed around £500. However, there is a really positive spanner in the works here, because Currys in the UK has this listed at £508, which to me is already a bargain, but currently Amazon has this on sale right now as I record this for £423. And if you look further, it's not just Amazon that are applying these discounts. Very.com has the rig listed at £464. The official price on the Playseat store, I think, is €599 or dollars, which kind of translates again around to that £500 mark. But it seems that you can find this thing when it's in stock with really good discounts if you buy at the right time and you're lucky enough. So when it comes to sim rigs, affordability and quality are really the Formula Instinct's strong suit, because £423, even if it's on a discount, is insane when you pair it with the design and the durability, along with the functionality and the authentic racing experience you get from this rig. And hand on my heart, I don't think I could justify a single reason why this wouldn't be the best choice in this price range. So with that being said, for cost, I'm going to score the Playseat Formula Instinct a 5 out of 5. When it comes to my final thoughts, I would say confidently and without a shadow of a doubt that if you drive Formula 1 the most, and sometimes jump into GT3 and other racing here and there, the Playseat Formula Instinct, in my opinion, is the best and most enjoyable sim rig I have ever used. And for any Formula 1 fans or otherwise looking for an upgrade, I can confidently say that you will definitely not be disappointed with this rig. So the last thing to do is to give this thing an overall score, and I'm going to score the Playseat Formula Instinct a well-deserved 4.8 out of 5. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification so you don't miss any future videos, and I hope something in this review helped you. But until next time, happy gaming.